Okay folks, in today's lesson we're going to be learning about back bearings. In a previous lesson we've discussed what bearings are. A bearing is a direction from one point to the other. The back bearing is the direction going the other way. So if you are given the bearing A to B, the back bearing would be the bearing of B to A. So let's crack on and get the job done. If the bearing of A from B is given to you, then the corresponding back bearing is the bearing of B from A. In the diagram, the yellow angle you can see is the bearing of point A from point B. We're measuring from point B, that's why the north line is at point B. If we want to find the bearing of B from A, we need to put a north line in at A and measure the angle clockwise. So that yellow angle that's just appeared is the back bearing. The question is, what's the connection between the back bearing and the original bearing? Well, if we extend the line from B to A, we can see that part of the back bearing is just a 180-degree straight line angle. Once we've shaded that in blue, the two yellow angles we can see left are both corresponding angles because the two north lines are both parallel lines. Therefore, those two yellow angles are equal. That must tell us that the back bearing is equal to the original bearing plus 180 degrees, the blue angle. And that's our result. The back bearing is the original bearing plus 180 degrees. Let's use our result then in example 1. We're given the original bearing of 35 degrees and we're asked for the back bearing. Our result tells us to simply add 180 degrees. So the bearing of B from A will be 35 plus 180, and that's 215 degrees. In example 2, we've got the bearing of B from A. Our original bearing is 250 degrees. What's the back bearing? Well, the back bearing would be the angle measured from the north line at B to A, that angle shown. Our result tells us we simply add 180 degrees to the original bearing. But when we add 180 to 250, we end up with 430 degrees. Now that looks wrong. But wait, don't panic. If we look at our bearing measurer and we look at what 430 degrees looks like, round once is 360 degrees, add another 70 degrees, that would be 430 degrees. Therefore, a bearing of 430 degrees is actually the same as a bearing of 70 degrees. And that's the bearing we would use. So if when adding 180 degrees, your back bearing ends up more than 360 degrees, then all you need to do is subtract 360 degrees from it. So 430 subtract 360 gives us a bearing or a back bearing of 070 degrees. Let's bring all that together then with a recap. If the bearing of A from B is given to you, then the corresponding back bearing is the bearing of B from A. In the first diagram, we have the bearing of A from B, and in the second diagram, we have the corresponding bearing of B from A. To find the value of the back bearing, you simply add 180 degrees to the original bearing, and when you've done that, If you find your back bearing is more than 360 degrees, you simply subtract 360 degrees from it. And having heard the recap, if you've understood all that, you've got the job done.